Yesterday I had the pleasure of presenting on a webinar of a platform of called Expertise, and we had a few people, a few coaches and people turn up, and I sort of talked about managing difficult times. And part of what I was trying to communicate yesterday was that we have a perspective and a view on life which I think is influenced a little bit by Disney, in that we feel that like our lives should be a little enchanted like the old Disney videos, but actually in reality, life is magical and lots of magic things happen, from meeting partners and falling in love, and having children, and all the magic that children brings. But actually that perspective and expectation we have on life actually kind of misses some of the other parts, which is tougher things happen. You do have challenges, and there are rotten apples, there's ogres, horrible stuff does happen. And actually a lot of the time, like, life can feel like a real battle and a challenge and a grind, and that is part of life. There are periods like that. Things happen, in your careers. You get challenges financially, you'll have health challenges, but you can still in those times maintain some of the magic, and your view of the world and the perspective you take is really what determines how you live during those times. And really what I was communicating yesterday was how important it is to keep your mindset like in a positive outlook and grounding yourself, so you tap into the magic of you, and and they are those characteristics that you show, those values that you have when you're at your best. I call it, for me, when I'm magical Jez, as opposed to critical Jez. And if you can tap into those traits, that's how you get through these. This is how you grow and learn and like manage them. And so that was really my message from yesterday. And the way I do it is, I'm clear on what my why is. My why is around my family, my children, and being like the upbeat Jez, the person who likes to encourage and to lift people. And that's my why, and just to bring a smile to people. But then I'm clear on what those positive values are that I want to live by, and that's some of that's belief, trusting myself, having courage, and there are a whole host of others. But also there are also different values that I've kind of come across in sort of recent times, is you have away from values, those values that you don't want. So the anxiety, the anger, all of that is there are elements that we all have, we all react, and we have triggers, and it's trying to minimize those as much as you can. I mean, you're not human if you're not triggered by certain stuff. And one of mine is when I'm taking Tessie out for a walk, and then we have people that, you know, pick up poop like in a bag when they're out in nature, and then just chuck it back into nature. I'm thinking, what's the point? And stuff like that happens, and you know, I have to rationalise a little bit of that, because you know, it could be that actually someone's innocently dropped it, or actually they've dropped it so they can pick it up later, and so it could be that. But I think it's, you know, finding those methods and techniques and generate a skill so you manage these, you know, you manage all of that, so you stay grounded and you tap into who you are at your best, your magical best. So that would be my recommendation, is have a think about that. And you know, what are you like when you're, you know, the most inspired? You know, that when you're relaxed and confident, you know, what does that person look like? Try and write them down, and then also, you know, write down the things that trigger you, that you want to see less of. Because I don't like myself when I'm angry, or when I'm irritated, or I'm going off on one. You know, that's not really who I want to be. You know, I want to be, you know, like the positive, you know, smiling Jez, not the irritated, angry Jez. So just have a think over the weekend. You know, what are those attributes that you have? You know, good and bad, and you know, work on them. You know, work on what your why is, and once you got that, and then there are other techniques that you can then use to keep you in that. So, for example, you know, when I'm feeling a little bit like stressed or anxious, you know, I think about myself, that like magic Jez, and you squeeze my thumb and forefinger together. You know, that's how I sort of really remind myself and embrace, you know, that's the Jez I want to be, and as opposed to, you know, whatever I've turned into at that particular point. So just thought I'd share that. Alrighty, have a great weekend, and we will pick up soon.